Welcome back in. Welcome back in. It is Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday morning. We've had a
Mhm.
lot of, I guess the zero RB truthers day to shine because with all the injuries to the running backs today, we got a ton of, backups playing today. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about all those players, whether it's Braylon Allen or Garindo or Zach Charbonnet. So there's quite a few of them
As
today.
if the 6 teams on bye week wasn't enough.
Yeah, came on a perfect time.
Yep.
So we're here to answer all of your questions, get you ready to go for this week. Hopefully you're already in the playoffs. You don't even have to worry about today. It's not even a big deal to you. So you're just playing for fun. Hopefully, if not, let's try to get you some dubs so we could get you into the playoffs or maybe a first round bye. Scott, good morning. Start Cousins or lock. This shows you exactly where we're at for this week. I would go Kirk Cousins and just pray to the good Lords above that in a revenge game, maybe he can figure it out.
A semi-away game? You know what I mean? Play there for so long, maybe we won't get real road Kirk Cousins. It'll be in the middle somewhere. See, I couldn't go lock today. And maybe that's especially with neighbors, it seems like he might play through whatever he has. Um But with him being banged up and a true game time decision, I can't do that. Theo
Uh,
Johnson on IR.
Yeah. The one thing I would ask Scott, if you're in here, is Aiden O'Connell available? I actually really like Aiden O'Connell this week. I actually moved him up. I have him as a top 15 quarterback this week. So this is a really good matchup for him. And if you just go back in the games that he started, he has been a top 10 scoring quarterback in 4 of his last 6 games that he's played in. So this is a really good matchup against the Bucks. The Bucks are terrible, against the pass. So I really like Aiden O'Connell. So if I was in a pinch like what you appear to be for this week, I would drastically rather play Aiden O'Connell over Cousins or Locke. So
Yeah, I agree.
and then on the other side, start Cooks or Parker Washington. I'd probably go Parker Washington.
I think I would go Cooks here. I'm not that you really trust either of these quarterbacks, but Cooper Rush has at least had a little bit longer of a track record of being a decent enough quarterback. I'm so nervous about chasing how Mac Jones looked last week.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And Cooks
O'Connell
did
is
see
not
7 targets
available,
in his
by
first
the
game
way.
back. So
O'Connell not available from Scott.
what the? That's surprising. Well, yep, and that's what I'd probably do. Probably go Cousins. And I don't mind the Cooks call. He might be a little bit safer, but um, I will say that Tennessee's defense is extremely banged up. They are missing a ton of pieces on that defense as well. So there's a lot of defenses that are really banged up right now.
The Giants.
Yeah. So yeah. Harold, good morning. Hubbard, Garindo, Connor, Pacheco need 2 in a standard. In a standard, I'm going to go Garindo and James Conner.
Yep. I'm with you. I agree. Aquaman. Been a while, buddy.
Yeah. I haven't seen you in here for a while. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Thoughts on Vlad today, playing or inactive? All the reports right now is that he's a true game time decision right now. It's a pretty big game for them. With the way their races are shaping up and everything. Obviously, every game is super important. Now, they don't really have a shot at winning the division. I guess technically you could. Chiefs just lost out, but I don't see that happening. But still, it does sound like he is pretty much a true game time decision. I would be fine with holding on, but you need to have a backup plan, obviously. And so I've kind of looked around. I think the one that's most available is Joshua Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you would want to have somebody available in the event that he's not if he doesn't end up playing. But I feel like there's a better than 50-50 shot that he plays.
Aqua, it also depends on who you have on your bench right now.
Yeah. What other options you have. So, yeah, maybe let us know that. That'll help. Michael, need 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a flex, half-point PPR. Pickens, Myers, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Cook, Sharp, Braylon Allen. My goodness.
One wide receiver. I'm going to go Myers over Pickens, personally. I know Pickens is expected to play, but it only just worries me with like a late week, especially hammy. And for someone like Pickens who plays downfield a ton, just worry me a little bit. You talked about liking Aiden O'Connell. I really like Jacoby Myers today. He's expected to play with his ankle injury. So that would be the wide receiver for me. Running back would be Cook. And then I will flex Charbonnet.
That's tough. I agree with you on the running backs. I think I would still go Pickens, but I get it. Like they definitely could go either way. It's just a lot tougher to trust. You know, it is a hamstring injury. Those always make you nervous. I think everything you pointed out is fair, but I also think this is just like a phenomenal matchup for Pickens, and Pickens could go absolutely nuclear in this spot. And I wouldn't want to have that on my bench. So I guess it really depends on like just what it is you're needing, you know, for this game or for this week. Like, are you needing the ceiling? Is this like an absolute must win for you in this with this team, you know, and stuff like that? That's kind of the way that I would look at it. So I don't really feel either like, you know, at least with the Thursday game, there's probably not a lot there that like sunk you. So like if the players, you know, are playing against those guys, because that game didn't, especially Jaden Reed, my God.
First player I talked about on the must start wide receiver video.
He was a good play. I mean, I played a lot of them in showdown slate for DFS. I mean, so I had a lot of zeros. Like I don't really understand what's happening with him and what the way they're utilizing him anymore. Like I don't get it. I don't know if there's some sort of injury that we just don't know about. It's pretty wild to me the way that they're utilizing him.
Been really weird. Really, really, really weird.
So I mean, lately he's been pretty much touchdown or bust. So
yeah,
he has had some pretty big ceiling games this year, but man, it's been rough.
And all those ceiling games have come in on 3 catches too. Like even that first week against Philly when he went off, like he didn't have a lot of touches.
Yeah, super frustrating. Brandon, good morning. According to you, really needing a win today. Start Keenan or JSN?
Man.
I'm going to go with JSN here. I like the matchup for him more against Arizona. Arizona is a slot funnel. That's where you beat the Cardinals. They are top 5 in fantasy points allowed to slot wide receivers this year. JSN plays like 80% of the snap from the slot. So I would go JSN. I don't think Keenan's a bad play either, but I also feel like it's a little chasey as well over the last couple of weeks, kind of what we saw there. And I think, you know, we've kind of seen the last, you know, month, it's kind of switched every week where, you know, you had a week where Odunze was actually the leader in targets. Then we had a week where it was DJ Moore, you know, and then we had a week it was Keenan. So like it could go a lot of different directions. So I just think JSN's a lot safer.
Probably JSN, but I do like Keenan today. But I think it's a smarter, safer play to go JSN. I do like Keenan, San Fran slot corner, who I believe is back today. Top, I can't remember what it was, but a couple weeks ago when I looked, I think he was like giving up the 7th or 8th most yards from the slot. Keenan does have 31 targets over the past 3 weeks. And I do think this is a spot where the San Fran offense gets back on track, and that's going to push Chicago. Swift banged up. So I do like Keenan, but I think it's safer to go JSN.
Yeah. And I appreciate the super chat, Brandon.
Yes. Appreciate it, man. Good luck.
Need 2 wide receivers at a flex. Neighbors, Pickens, Lamb, Waddle, White, Chubb. So it's going to be, I'm going to go Pickens and Lamb. It really should be Neighbors. I mean, the Saints have given up, I think it's like the 3rd or 4th most points to wide receiver ones this year. But I don't know what it means when they say he's going to have a limited role. Like, I don't really, .
Yeah.
but I also don't love any of the other options you have. So I think I would just stick with Neighbors and go with Neighbors in the flex. Like I get it, but like I don't really love the spots for Waddle or White or Chubb.
I would probably go Rashad White. I think we could see him a little bit more involved with Bucky banged up. Like maybe it's a spot where they don't quote unquote need to hand the ball off to Bucky, 16 plus times today. And we see Rashad White a little bit more involved. I just, like you said, should be Neighbors, but I just don't want to trust that, especially with him popping up on Friday with like a different injury as well. So that's, I just don't want to do that. And it's not like, sitting Neighbors has really crushed you up to this point anyway. He's been fine with getting 11 to 14 points basically every week, but he hasn't been, we haven't seen a wide receiver one, like a top 12 performance from him since what, like week 3 or 4. So I'd probably just play it safe and I would go White.
And then another one for Michael, halfway PPR, 2 running backs in the flex, Tracy Garindo, Braylon Allen, Chubb, Rashad White, Pickens, Shakir. So this is going to be Garindo and Tyler Tracy. And then the flex, I'm going to go with George Pickens.
I'm with you.
2 running backs in the flex, Garindo, Chubb, Braylon Allen. Wait, same one? I guess not.
No, Quentin Johnson's thrown in there.
Yeah. So Garindo, Tracy,
and Charbonnet for me.
Yeah, agreed. Mark, Saints or Cardinals defense? I'm going to go with the Saints.
Saints for me as well.
No, I really do like
about how bad they are.
Yeah. And then halfway PPR need a flex. Cooper, McConkey, Ridley, BTJ, and Chubb. Otten or Hawkinson?
Going Hawkinson on the tight end. And then I'm going to go Ridley.
I agree. I would love to say McConkey, but just with the injuries and you have plenty of other options, I would just not risk it and just go with Ridley. I also really like Brian Thomas as well, but I would go with Ridley. And then Mark, start 2 halfway PPR, Hill, London, and Lamb.
Oh, boy. Tyreek is locked in for me. And then it comes down to London and Lamb.
I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
I think that's the right call.
I just think there's enough issues with Kirk Cousins, the way he's played. Hasn't thrown a touchdown in, I think it's like 4 weeks. Thrown 6 interceptions, 4 fumbles. Like, he really at this point should have probably be benched for Michael Penix, but I don't know. So I just think there's a lot of risk there. Now, London did see 16 targets, I think, or whatever it was last week. So that's obviously promising, but I think I would just go with Hill and Lamb.
Yeah, I think it's the right call since his defense is trash as well.
Yeah. Mark, Disley or Juwan Johnson? I'm going to go with Disley.
Going back to it, baby.
What could go wrong? Halfway PPR from Michael again. 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and a flex. Pickens, Myers, McConkey, Devonta Smith, Garindo, Char, Braylon Allen, Pacheco, Winston, or Caleb Williams, Geno, Russ. Pick one.
It's going to be...
So this, I'm going to go Pickens and Myers at wide receiver.
I'm going to go Myers and Smitty at wide receiver. Garindo at running back. And then in the flex, if you need upside, I would go Pickens. If you need safety, I would go Charbonnet.
Yeah, I think I would go Charbonnet there. It'd be Pickens, Myers, and Charbonnet for me. And then at quarterback.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go Caleb Williams. No Bosa. That's another defense that's really banged up. Caleb Williams has somewhat of a rushing floor. He's giving you like at least 3 points from his rushing every week. Like I said, I think it's going to be a case where San Fran's offense gets back on track, pushes the Bears, and Caleb Williams is averaging like 275 yards over his last 3 games.
I'm gonna go with Russ. I don't dislike Caleb Williams at all. I have Caleb Williams at QB 11, but I have Russ at QB 7. I just really like this spot for it. It really sets up really well for what Cleveland struggles at, which they give up big plays, and obviously that's Russ's that's his bag, is those deep downfield plays. I also think Calvin Austin is also like a really interesting play as well with him being back. Or not being back, but not missing time. I thought with that, with the injury he suffered last week, that maybe he wasn't going to play, but he is playing. So even if like Pickens goes down, like you still have another option there. If they're going to look for a deep ball threat with, or even if Pickens is still playing, he's there. So I just really like Russell Wilson and what he probably brings to the table today. So I'm going to go with Russ. Though I don't hate it at all with Caleb Williams. Hines, full PPR. Am I crazy for wanting to start Charbonnet in the flex over Garendo? Jones and McConkey all have potential, so it's a toss-up for me. Appreciate the help.
I would not be able to do it over Garendo. The matchup's better.
Yeah. It's really close. I would play Charbonnet over. I'm assuming that's Aaron Jones. So I would play Charbonnet over Aaron Jones.
I'd be fine with that.
But I have Charbonnet and Garendo inside my top 12.
Yeah, Garendo's at the top of that list.
So, yeah, that's what I would do. That, or I guess you could look for play him over McConkey, too. I mean, with McConkey's situation, and not having a viable option after that if he were not to play.
Yeah, really Hines, let us know how many of these you need.
Michael again, halfway, 2 running backs to flex. So it's going to be Charbonnet, Tracy, and Tyreek. Yeah. And then at defense, it's going to be Arizona.
Yeah.
EC, morning, PPR, start 2, Dottle, Thielen, Braylon.
It's going to be Dowdle and Braylon for me.
I'm going to go Dowdle and Thielen. It really worries me with Braylon Allen. Usage, what's Isaiah Davis going to do offensively? It's not like this offense has been kind of a mess. They've been throwing the ball a lot more. Like I don't mind Braylon Allen. I saw him as a top 24 running back play, but I have him down at 22. Initially, I was really more excited about it, but then you just kind of dig further into it. It's like, it does worry with that, especially with Isaiah Davis kind of starting to mix that in. Like, is he the pass catching running back, which really hurt Braylon Allen? So where Thielen, they're probably going to be playing trailing game script. He plays in the slot a lot, which is the best matchup you can get against the Eagles. So I just slightly like Thielen a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not stoked on Braylon Allen. It's just the matchup overall that worries me for Carolina.
Yeah. And then start 3 for EC, Dowdle, Swift, Garendo, Braylon. It would be the top 3 for me. I'm not worried about Swift at all. And we've seen Swift when he's gotten these like workhorse roles where he's playing, with no Roschon Johnson, and he gets like 80-90% of the snaps. Like, he is smashed in those situations. His opportunity has dropped a lot. And then we just talked about 49ers and how banged up their defense is. So I really like Swift here. And so initially I wasn't as high on him to start the week, but as the week has gone on, I bumped him up more and more. and he's a borderline top 15 running back.
Yeah, I would have felt better had he gotten in like 2 limited practices instead of 1, but I still think I would the matchup sets up really nice for Swift, so I'm probably going to sit Braylon Allen. I hope DFS folks play a lot of Braylon Allen today.
We'll see. Chip. Hey, fellas, start 2 flex PPR. Pacheco, Braylon Allen, Debo, Mooney, Westbrook. Points for kick return yards in my league. Debo had 25 points last week.
Wow. I'm going to go Debo. I think I'm going to go Debo and NWI.
I think I would go Debo and Mooney.
Mooney would be the next one in consideration for me.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
12-team PPR, need a running back and a flex. Chubb, Odunze, McCormick, start Neighbors if he plays, Reichert, or Matthew Wright.
So you can take that last one. Reichard's your boy, right?
He is. He is. I have Matthew Wright, though, 1 spot ahead of him. So I have Matthew Wright at 6 and Reichert at 7. So I just slightly lean towards Matthew Wright on that one. And then
it's going to be a Dunze in the flex.
Yeah. And then I think I would go McCormick.
Golly, man.
I know the last time these 2 teams played, Chubb found the end zone twice and, scored. But other than that, he didn't do anything. So if he doesn't score, if he doesn't score, it is a serious problem. And we saw last week, like, them choose to go with a lot more Jerome Ford in that spot. So, like, he's extremely touchdown dependent. He's not going to get anything in the passing game for Nick Chubb. So, like, if he doesn't score, he's pretty much kind of cooked. Where at least McCormick has shown some juice. I mean, last week, even against an elite run defense of the Chiefs, he still played pretty well. He hasn't found the end zone, so that's obviously hurt him a little bit. But I think he looks a lot better, and this isn't a bad matchup. So I would just go with McCormick. You don't have Madison. You don't have Zamir White still. So
think I slightly lean Chubb. Everything you said makes sense. I just worry that I think there's more of a chance that the Raiders fall behind early than the Browns. Because I think, if either of those teams get blown out or fall behind early, it's going to switch to the other running back on both sides, right? I just think that there's a slightly less chance of that happening to Cleveland. So I lean Chubb. At least with Jameis, he's going to de-gaff and throw it downfield. Should put Chubb in some scoring situations like you mentioned. It's like 56 yards I think he had and 2 touchdowns in that game. So I'm going to lean Chubb.
J2 Knight, start Jacoby Myers or Devontae Adams.
I'm going Myers. What could go wrong? Outside of last week, the Dolphins defense have been playing pretty well. Myers has been on a tear.
Yeah.
George Pickens inactive
Wow. Okay. That's crazy because I think I saw something right before we went on because I was trying to see if we had any news or updates to that.
I just got it from the old underdog
And,
notification.
they were talking to Tomlin before
Woo.
and doing pregame warmups, and he
Damn.
sounded pretty optimistic that he was going to play. All right.
Well, we're gonna have to hurry up. It looks like Kev has a lot of Kev has a lot of DFS lineups he has to change.
No, actually, not too much. I only had a couple shares, but still,
Okay.
it does change a lot of things with the slate because now like Calvin Austin's like
I was gonna say,
$3,300 on
yeah,
DraftKings, so like he's gonna get steamed up.
yeah. I did have a lineup with him in it, but now it doesn't look. I mean, I'm gonna keep him in because at that price range, there's not a ton to pivot off to, but looked a lot better before.
What about Mike Williams? How does that change for him?
I don't know. He just hasn't really been super involved. I think maybe Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I know.
I think they like Van Jefferson over Williams because Jefferson is a much more willing blocker. And that's kind of what the Steelers like, even before Arthur Smith, like that's been something the Steelers look for in their wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Williams hasn't seen a single target in the last 3 weeks, so
Yeah. Neighbors is active via Super Dave.
interesting. All right, well, changes things. I know we had some Pickens questions, so
Hopefully, hopefully they're paying attention to their lineups.
yeah.
Man, Malachi Corley out. I mean, not that that's a huge deal for anybody, but he's someone I really liked as a rookie, and he finally jumped ahead of Gibson the past couple weeks, and now he's out. That sucks.
Yeah.
Kyron.
I'm gonna go Tony Pollard. Might seem crazy, but the dude is just seeing a monster workload comparable to Kyron Williams. This is one of the best matchups you possibly can get, but he's also heavily involved in the passing game where Kyron Williams is not. I mean, if you just look at the last few weeks, I mean, he has seen 4 or more targets in almost every single game this year, and it's a phenomenal matchup. You know, last week, I know obviously it wasn't great for him, but that was more largely due to the fact that they just got the doors blown off of him. I don't think you really have to worry about that with the Jaguars. And so we've just seen the ceiling with him in good matchups. And I really like Tony Pollard a lot today. He's like one of my favorite running back plays on the entire weekend. So I would go Pollard over Kyron Williams, even as crazy as that may sound.
I have Pollard in a DFS lineup. I took his over on his rushing prop. I just think that there is a higher potential for Kyron to find the end zone. Like I prefer the Rams offense over Tennessee's as a whole.
Yeah.
But I do like Jay. Who's your other running back? Like maybe you already started like Monty or Jacobs or something, but like who's in your flex?
Sip, Juwan, Gray, Calcaterra with Kincaid out. I would go Juwan Johnson.
Yes.
And then full PPR, Brian Thomas, Tracy. Don't have to worry about Pickens anymore. Braylon, need 1 running back and 2 flex. So this would be Tyrone Tracy.
Well, it's already figured out for her, right?
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, correct. Yeah, he's already got that. Yeah, took care of it for you.
Hopefully, we don't get that one wrong.
Shelton, tight end start with Will Dissly or Jake Ferguson. I'm gonna go Will Dissly.
Dissly, baby, going back. Cheap on FanDuel if anyone plays FanDuel.
Yeah, Daniel. Hey guys, Dowdle or James Conner? This is gonna be Dowdle for me.
Dowdle.
Jacob, Tank Bigsby or Tajay Spears? Punch me in the face. Like I don't like either one of them. But I guess since we don't have a choice, I guess Tajay Spears. I don't know.
I would lean Tank. Don't love the matchup. I mean, we did see Brian Robinson be able to run all over them last week. Makes you feel a little bit better about it. I just think I think Tank has a higher touch ceiling than Tajay Spears. I don't see the Titans running away with this and putting Tank out of the ability to get his touches. Like I don't see them blowing them out of the water, and then it ends up being like all ETN. So I'm gonna go Tank.
Let me ask you about this because I think there's two other situations. Like how are you feeling about Jalen Wright with Raheem Mostert ruled out? And then also, I think the other one, the player that I've been stashing this week is Kendre Miller. He's back. If you listen to the coaching staff, the new coaching staff, because Dennis Allen clearly hated him. I don't know what he did to Dennis Allen.
He must have kicked his dog or made a pass at his wife or something.
Yeah,
it is, dude. It is night and day.
Because even like when they asked about like the hamstring injury, people were like, "What hamstring injury?" Like when he got placed on IR, like it was like really weird. So like they were actually talking really positively about him. And I'm not saying I would necessarily play him, but I don't think it's crazy to think that he could see a pretty decent I'm not saying like anything major, but probably something up there similar to somebody like like Tank Bigsby could see, or these other options you have here where he could see maybe 8 to 10 touches in this game because if they were able to build a lead and then they want to see what Kendre Miller can do. Because you can't keep running Alvin Kamara as hard as they have. And he's literally all they have. We have seen at times Kendre Miller be explosive. And so I'm stashing Kendre Miller, as the kind of the next kind of big handcuff with all these other things that are happening. But I actually have Kendre Miller ranked right outside of my top 36 for this week because I just think that he's going to see a workload. And then I also think Isaiah Davis would also be kind of an interesting option if he's might be sitting out there because like I've said, I think he's the pass catcher. Like last week, he did see 3 targets. He did score a touchdown. So I think it's possible he's like the pass catcher. So in full PPR, I think that he becomes viable.
Yeah, I'm good with all those stashes. I think for this week, I would still go Tank. Jalen Wright, somebody I love. Talked about him a lot all this year, but he'd not getting a ton of opportunity. Could we end up seeing fucking Jeff Wilson eating into some of those touches? You know what I mean? I'd feel a lot better about it if Wilson wasn't active too, but it looks like he is in. So I just think I don't know if this all goes if 100% of the running back touches and volume go to Achane and Jalen Wright. I would love to say Jalen Wright, but I think I would lean Bigsby. Unless you need a swing, then I would go Jalen Wright. If you just need to swing for the fences, because obviously he has I think he has more upside and staying power in that offense versus Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. Brian, 2 flex, 1 lock is Dowdle available. Braylon Allen, MVS, Cooper, Cooks. Any input? Thanks.
I would go Cooper and Cooks.
I would go Braylon Allen with this, with these options. And then I would go probably Cooper. I think MVS is still interesting just because they just don't have anybody else. And we know he's going to see some deep targets. And if he can connect on one of them again, he can get there. And so, I don't love MVS, but this is just, he's very boomer bust. But, with the other options, what's maddening with Cooper is just they just spread the ball around so damn much. Now, it is good that, Kincaid's still out and Keon Coleman, He's supposed to be like some sort of game time decision.
Yeah.
So, it's possible. So I think I still would lean Cooper, but MVS I think is not far behind.
I did just want to jump down to this one real quick since Hines was with us earlier and had the Pickens question.
Yes, I would just play Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Or Garrett Wilson. Dude feels like he's cursed. Because he's made he should be having a much better year. Like you see it every week, like all these opportunities that he should have had that he's like just putting defenders on skates, and either it's a bad throw or they don't even, or Rodgers doesn't even look at him because he's so infatuated with getting the ball to Devontae Adams. Like it's wild. Like Garrett Wilson should be smashing this year. I have Kyren as my RB1, Charbonnet RB2, and Allen in the flex. Should I put Garrett Wilson on the bench this week? Definitely with Lazard back, and put in Elijah Moore.
I would go Wilson over Braylon Allen.
I would too. I really do like Elijah Moore too, honestly.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston turned into the wide receiver maker here, the kingmaker. I mean, he just makes everybody fantasy relevant. I mean, where guys like this haven't been. And so
the dude throws 3 picks, takes 3 sacks, and is still putting up 40 fucking fantasy points.
Yeah. Ronaldo, speaking of Winston, Justin Herbert or Winston. I'm going to go with Herbert here. I do like Jameis Winston, but with Herbert, the rushing upside, the Chiefs defense has played not very well recently. And they just let Aiden O'Connell throw for 340 and 2 against them. So I would probably go Justin
Bryce Young looked good.
Yeah. 2 questions, full PPR, Caleb or Russell. I'm going to go Caleb now. I wish with Pickens out, like it really changes the math for me and how much I feel great about Russell. So I would go Caleb now, and then Pickens, Najee, McConkey, or Dowdle at the flex.
Dowdle at the flex.
I think I agree with man. Najee becomes a little bit more interesting if this team is just going to just try to ram it down their throat every single time.
Yeah.
Without Pickens. But yeah, I think I would go Dowdle. And then Elijah Moore or limited neighbors.
Golly, man. I'm going to go Elijah Moore. Like I said earlier, Neighbors has been like consistently putting up 11 to 14 every week. He's been fine, but he hasn't been what you drafted him to be. And now if he's banged up and not playing his normal role, I'm just going to go Elijah Moore.
I think that's fine. It is obviously makes you nervous just because, the potential there. And we don't really know what limited means. We've heard things like that before this year, and it really didn't mean what we thought it was going to mean. And, players ended up playing full complement of snaps. I remember Puka Nacua when he first came back. Didn't even have, a practice in. And it was, he's going to be limited. He's going to be on a pitch count, and he wasn't on a pitch count or limited. So, there's definitely a lot of risk to that. But also the game environment, other situations, I don't think Malik Neighbors necessarily kills you if you don't play him. And Elijah Moore has just been really solid in, Jameis Winston game. So I'm okay with doing that. So best ad, full PPR, Winston, Elijah Moore, Benson, MVS, Austin. The wide range. It'd be Elijah Moore, I would assume. I'm assuming you don't really need a quarterback.
Are we just like, is this just for a stash, Terry? If we're just stashing, I'd probably go Benson. But if you
That's
need to
fair too.
like add one of these to play, unless it's a super flex, it would be Elijah Moore. So
Oh yeah.
if you could let us know like what exactly this is for. Like, are you needing to start one of these, or are we just stashing one? If we're stashing one, it's Benson. If you need to play one, it's Elijah Moore, unless it's a super flex, then it would be Winston.
I agree.
Stash. It wasn't
Dawkins.
stash, so that would be Benson for me if we're talking straight stashes here, homie.
Yeah, yeah. If we're just talking about straight stash, yeah, it's Trey Benson. Dawkins, Odunze or Thielen, half point PPR. I'm gonna go Thielen.
Man, Thielen probably safer, but something I found super interesting when I was doing the wide receiver video. Over the past 3 weeks, Rome Odunze is 5th in total air yards
Oh yeah.
over the past 3 weeks. So if one of those, he just needs one of those to connect. So if you're just going the safe play, I would go Thielen. But if you want to swing, Odunze is a swing for me.
Yeah, to note on that, I will say that Caleb Williams has actually been one of the worst deep ball passers in the entire league this year. It's been kind of frustrating that he hasn't been able to, because there's been multiple times that Odunze's been there. But yeah, which two do I start? Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Ladd, or Braylon Allen? I would go Ridley and Garrett Wilson.
Sorry, we had one of those streamers come in. First of all, good to see you and hear Ali. Been a while. Thank you, Terry, for the super chat. Which two do I start? Wilson, Ridley, Ladd, Braylon. Probably just play it safe here and go Ridley and Wilson.
Yeah. As much as I love McConkey, it's just I don't want to run the risk of him getting ruled out, and you have just too good of options to not. Like, it'd be different if you had like nobody else that
Right.
really made sense, but you have so many other options. I don't want to risk McConkey actually sitting. And then for Rupp, also Saints, Cardinals, Seahawks defense, I would go Saints.
Yep.
Garrett, Rico, Marv, Rashad White, Braylon Allen, pick 2. I'm going to go the first 2.
Rico and Marv.
ET, wish me luck. I got Josh Jacobs on Thursday, and this is the final shot to make the playoffs. Just picked up Jacoby Myers to pair with Evans, my wide receiver with Bijan, Garendo, and Monty as running backs. Yeah, I that's solid.
Yeah.
Love
Good luck,
Jacoby
EP.
Myers today. Evans should smash. Garendo's in a fantastic spot, and then Bijan, I think, is an underrated spot. So I don't hate that at all. Good luck. Start Vidal, Wright, Brooks, Odunze over Neighbors, PPR. I would still play Neighbors in that one.
It'd be Neighbors or Odunze, but slightly lean Neighbors.
EC, should I drop Bigsby or Vidal to cup Kamara with Kendrick? Yes, I would drop Vidal.
Yeah.
True Teller, start one running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 super flex. Bijan, Chase Brown, Charbonnet, Devonta, JSN, Keenan, Harrison, MVS, or Garrett, Wilson need a win. A loss today, most likely out of playoffs, unless 2 others behind me. I'm in 5th.
We don't have any quarterbacks in here, right?
No, that's what I was looking for.
Okay. So Bijan and Chase. And then Smitty and JSN for me.
I would go Bijan, Chase Brown, and Charbonnet in the flex with
No. 1 running back, 1 super flex, 2 wide receivers. So Bijan and Chase take up the running back.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's fair. So then the two wide receivers would be JSN and Garrett Wilson for me. Well, Chris, since we already know the answer to this, because Pickens isn't playing, Westbrook or Jennings? This is going to be Juwan Jennings.
I'll go Jennings here.
Michael, I have Ladd. Should I start Debo game at 4 or Thielen game at 1, or wait for Ladd and get Palmer or Tolbert who plays Monday?
I would just go Debo. I know it's been super gross with him, but I think this is a spot where he could get back on track. CMC out. Whenever CMC goes out, we tend to see Debo get more involved in the running game. Not worried about the Bears secondary.
So no choice. I mean, yeah, I guess go Debo. I don't love Debo, but
it's hard. It's obviously hard to love Debo at this point, but
I wish we knew something more on McConkey because that's frustrating. But because he's a top 15, probably actually top 12 wide receiver this week if he plays. Just the Chiefs secondary has been dreadful. Like he's clearly their best wide receiver.
I mean, there's a chance if you go Debo, we hear something from Ladd. You're expected to play something along those lines.
Yeah. So I think that's probably
we won't get anything official, but I'm just going Debo here.
I guess, Michael, a question would be like, what are we looking for here in terms of like, because like I think like if it was me but I'm also a lot more just risk. Like I'll take on the risk, where other people are fairly, more conservative in how they approach things. It's kind of like the Nico week. I waited out hope that he was going to play and he got ruled out. I think I would prefer, because if all things considered, we didn't have any concern here, it would be easily Ladd McConkey. It wouldn't even be close here. There's the other options that you have. Like I think if I had to, I would go Debo over Thielen, but I also think if Ladd gets ruled out, like Joshua Palmer becomes I think he would be like a top 36 wide receiver if Ladd McConkey didn't play. So I would probably, if it was me, I would wait for Ladd McConkey and see if he plays. He's been playing through this stuff, a lot of the injuries that he's had, he's been playing through them. So I think I would wait and then see if we get any news. And then if it was me, I personally would play Ladd and just wait. And if I had to, just go play Josh Palmer. But if you don't want to take that risk, then it would be go to Debo. Chris, Disley or Ferguson? This is Disley.
Disley.
Tracy or Bucky?
Bucky.
I'm going to go with Bucky. Man, it makes me nervous with all the injuries that dude. I mean, he looked like he was really, really feeling it last week before that injury, or at the end of that game when he was walking out.
Yeah, but if Tracy fumbles again, he might get fucking sent in a rocket ship to the moon.
That's true, but if it wasn't for that, it would be easily Bucky. I love Bucky Irving this week. Like I have him as the top 8 running back. So like I think you still go Bucky, but it just makes you a little nervous there. Ghostman, Kyler or Jameis? I'm gonna go Kyler. And then Devonta Smith or Braylon?
It's going to be Jameis and Smitty for me.
I'm going to go Braylon Allen here. I just get really, really concerned that the Eagles aren't going to throw the ball but 20 times today. And, in that game, they will definitely do it if you let them. And it worries me with this. So I think if it was a better offense that would push the Eagles, like that's what you need. You need the Panthers to push the Eagles, and it's possible the Eagles just look past them like a lot of teams do in spots like this, coming off of big game against Baltimore. They kind of overlook the Carolina a little bit, and the Carolina hangs up a couple touchdowns early and pushes them, and then that's where Devonta Smith gets there. But if that doesn't happen against this defense, like it could be Devonta Smith sees 4 targets.
It's fair.
And I love the spot because we want to play him with Goddard out, but it just worries me with game script wise how that could play out. KD, Arizona or San Francisco's defense is Arizona.
Yeah.
And I can't tell. Like, it kind of jacked up a little bit here with some of this. So is Ken's the next one that you see on yours?
Where did that? Holy shit. Nope. Let me I'll go back up. There's a bunch that you're missing.
Okay. That's why I wanted to make sure, because I was like, it goes from 10:35 to 10:54. And so I was like, I didn't want to just skip all these people. So I wanted to ask.
Yeah, this one's 37.
Okay. Drop. Yeah, I think we already had this because I said I would drop Fidel for Kendre Miller. Well, I guess it's actually a little bit different. It was just Kendre Miller, I think, was the question.
Yeah. Sean, should I start Neighbors, or do you guys think he will be limited? It really just depends on your options. There's been a couple of times today we've said Neighbors, and there's been a lot that we haven't said Neighbors. So, Sean, if you're still here, let us know. Oh, here we go. BTJ, Ridley, Jennings, Neighbors, Waddle, NWI, or D-Hop.
It's the first 3.
Yeah. Here's a situation where you have the depth to be able to sit Neighbors. Levis or Wilson?
I'm still going to go with Wilson on this.
I would still go Wilson over Levis. Noel, we need 2.5 PPR. Judy, Keenan, Neighbors, Mooney, BTJ. I'm going to go Judy and BTJ.
Agreed.
And a quarterback question, Mahomes, Wilson, or Caleb?
I'm going to go with Mahomes.
Yeah, I guess. It would be between Mahomes and Caleb for me, but I'll lean Mahomes. Danzel, Jennings, Wilson, Cooper, Thielen, Chubb. 1 wide receiver, 1 flex.
It's going to be the first 2 for me, Juwan Jennings and Garrett Wilson.
I would love to say Cooper, but I just don't think I can. So I'm going to go Jennings and Wilson as well. Jay, Saquon Barkley, Chase Brown need one of those for a flex. What in the actual fuck? I mean,
is there another question that we're missing on that?
Okay, that's right. Because he was asking Kyron or Pollard, and I said who else you're starting. I was like, okay, all right, so we were split on this one. I'm on with Kyron, and you're on Team Pollard.
Yeah,
we both are good plays. Can't really go wrong. I just lean Kyron again because of the overall offense. That's the only reason why. Neighbors over Sincere, Chubb, Vidal, Wright, or Brooks?
I would.
Yeah, I would go Neighbors over those ones. John, Jennings, or DK?
I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings.
I'm going to go DK. Sorry, couldn't help you there, John. Generations X over on Twitch. As after our newer information, I'm going to roll out Lamb as wide receiver 1, but do I keep DJ Moore as wide receiver 2 or roll out Adams? I'm going DJ Moore. But I think I would go Adams over Connor in the flex.
I would play Adams at wide receiver 2, and I probably would keep Connor in the flex. I think is the way that I would do it. But it is close between Moore and Connor, who I'd want to play there.
Disley, Ferg, or Knox. It's going to be Disley for both of us. Facts. Jawan Jennings, Keenan Allen, Tyron Tracy, Isaac Orendo. We need 2. I'm going to go to 2 running backs. I'm going to go Garendo and Tracy.
I'm going to go Garendo and Juwan Jennings. I know it doesn't feel great with the way this offense has looked recently, but I do think that it's certainly possible in this matchup that this offense can bounce back. So I'm going to go Garendo and Juwan Jennings.
Dan B. Torn right now between starting Evan Ingram or Will Disley. Ingram has the early start. Disley's night game. Without a game time decision, should I start Disley? I would go Disley. I'm apparently all in. KC has not defended tight ends well. Even if Ladd plays, how effective is he going to be? Is he just going to be kind of be a decoy? Dealing with has a knee sprain now on top of the AC sprain he's been dealing with for a while. So I think it's a really nice bounce back spot for Disley.
I think I would go Ingram, but it is really close.
Kyler, Jameis Levis, or Caleb?
Kyler.
I'm going to go Caleb there, but it would be between Caleb and Kyler for me. Pacheco, Warren, McCormick.
I'm going to go Pacheco here.
Yeah, I think so. Herbert or Caleb at QB with Ladd being a game time decision.
I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert.
Still Herbert for me there. Firefighter. Allen or Charbonnet. It's going to be Charbonnet for me.
Yep.
Yeah, and Terry, with you having Hurts, I'm definitely not worried about picking up Winston. That's a much more valuable bench spot to get a handcuff stash in there. Neighbors or Warren in the PPR from Ken?
This will be a Neighbors one.
I think so, but it's much closer than. Oh man, now mine fuck up. It's at mine fuck up after Pickens, from Aqua. Is yours normal after that? Or is yours fucked up too?
I got this one: Gus, Hunt, or Pacheco PPR. It's gonna be Pacheco for me.
Yeah.
And then Terry, Wilson, or DK. This is gonna be Garrett Wilson.
I'm gonna go DK on that one.
And then it picks up with Hill, Cup.
Shit. Okay. All right. I don't see that one at all. Okay. I thought you were jumping all the way to the bottom, and because I can see we have one from Super Dave, another one from Terry.
Yeah, I think that's where it picks up. Yeah. So it should be Hill, Cup, Ridley, Brian Thomas, pick 2. I'm gonna go Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, first 2 for me.
Chiefs or Titans defense. This is Titans defense.
Yeah.
And then full PPR, pick 1: Debo, Braylon Allen, or Keenan Allen. I'm gonna go Keenan Allen here.
I'm gonna go Debo, but Keenan would be my second one. So if you don't want to trust Debo, don't blame you. He's not been good for 6 weeks now, but I think it's a spot where you could bounce back.
Yeah, True Teller, start 2 wide receivers, 1 super flex, Ladd, Devontae Adams, Juwan Jennings, Evan Ingram, start Njoku over Ingram. Yes, Njoku over Ingram for sure. Also, I got a bench, Elijah, ETN, Adam Thielen, Roma Doozy. So this is another one where I don't see a quarterback for the super flex. So
yeah. mean, for the spot on the bench, depends like what your running back situation looks like. I'd probably go ETN. And then for your starts,
I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings, Devontae Adams, and I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey.
yeah.
And again, I would make sure that since you have a spot on the bench, this would be a time that maybe you just go pick up
Palmer.
Palmer, just in case. See, Crip need a flex full PPR. DK, Jennings, Westbrook, or Elijah Morris going to be Juwan Jennings.
DK for me.
Or Garrett Wilson's involved in that. I would still go. Let me see.
It would still be DK for me, but I'll be right on DK one of these times.
Actually, on this one, give me Garrett Wilson. I have Garrett Wilson as a top 15 wide receiver. So TX, Ladd, Chuba, or Tracy.
Tracy.
I think I would just go Tracy here just because of Ladd, Chuba, or Elijah Moore. I would go Elijah Moore, or I would go Ladd McConkey.
I would go Ladd, but only if you have someone that you can slide in just in case. If you don't have that option, it's Elijah.
And then Russ Stafford or Will Levis. I think I would go Stafford now. With
Stafford, yeah.
With Pickens ruled out. And then full PPR, pick 2, Najee, Rashad White, DK, Kupp, Wilson. I want to go Kupp and Wilson.
Kupp and Najee.
He was the other one that I was really trying to decide between, but let's get a neighbor touchdown. Yeah, much like remember Brian Robinson, where actually he was even a better example. That everybody was super afraid of playing Brian Robinson, that he wasn't going to get that much work, and they were going to go easy on him, especially with the bye week coming, and nobody played him. Everybody wanted to sit him. Actually, funny, I actually ended up playing him. I remember I even asked you about it because what would you do after the show? And I ended up sticking with him, and thank God that he scored that early touchdown because he didn't do a whole lot after that. After he scored that touchdown, yeah, just get him there early, and then we don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. Start 2, full PPR, DK Metcalf, Jacoby Myers, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison. It's going to be Jacoby Myers and DK Metcalf on that one.
First 2 for me.
Sorry, fellas, thought I deleted the first question. So it's yes to dropping Vidal for Miller and no to dropping Bigsby for McCormick. Yeah, I would stick with Bigsby, and then I would definitely drop Vidal for Miller.
Yeah.
Disley, Otten, or Pitts. This is going to be Disley.
Yep.
Not good. Fantasy, Jason, Tracy, or Charbonnet. This is going to be Charbonnet.
I'm going to go Tracy. Oh.
See, that's where it messed up for me after that. Dylan, full PPR. With news of Kincaid out for Buffalo and Pickens out for Pittsburgh, who do you like better, Knox or Freiermuth? Bill's game has the highest over-under. Pat's more established nowadays.
I would go Patty.
I think so. It's just tough with Knox just because how much they spread the damn ball around in Buffalo. And so it's tough. He hasn't really shown much of a ceiling, with him. So where Freiermuth I think last week had a pretty decent target share if I remember correctly, which was kind of unique because that's not something we had seen a ton from him. But with so few pass catchers here, I mean they're gonna have to throw the ball to somebody. So, yeah, last week he saw 7 targets, which was tied for the most he's seen all year. So, and scored a touchdown. So yeah, I think I would just go there.
Oh, sorry. Forgot. Shane, Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb, Parker Washington in a half PPR. It's going to be Elijah Moore for me.
Yep.
And if we're like skipping over any of your questions, go ahead and drop them back in at the bottom here. We our chat got messed up on both of our sides, so if we're skipping anything, go ahead and just drop it back in. Truth, I'm leaning the start Keenan over Garrett Wilson. Kevin, why did you choose Garrett Wilson over Keenan Allen? Just want to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
A lot of it with Garrett with Keenan Allen is that, like I've said, like this has been a pretty volatile offense, and where the 49ers have actually been pretty good against slot wide receivers, which is where Keenan Allen primarily plays. And so don't necessarily love the matchup enough. And like I've said, like I know Garrett Wilson's also volatile, but to me, I think when you look at that situation, you like the opportunities have been there, and we've seen some ceiling games from him. I just prefer Garrett Wilson here, a matchup where I definitely think they're going to be trailing. And so I just prefer Garrett Wilson over Keenan Allen. I have Garrett Wilson as a top 15 wide receiver. I have Keenan Allen in the 30s. So.
Disley, Juwan, Orgasecki. This is Disley.
Yeah.
Michael, appreciate you sliding through. And we're terrible at this, but if you're rocking with us for the first time, please hit us with a little subby sub. That's all we ask for. Do this every Sunday, every Wednesday. Always here to help you out. Truth didn't have a QB Superflex for either of my two teams. One, Daniels, Lamar on bye. Other league I dropped. Carr for Charbonnet. Wasn't feeling good about Carr over Chase Brown Superflex. Yeah, it's fair. I would have went Chase Brown over Carr as well. With injuries and buys for Josh, Jalen Wright for Miami, Isaiah Davis, Travis Homer, or Patrick Taylor. I would just take the swing with Jalen Wright.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. I think this last one. I think so was great. And I just for context, I wanted to look it up just to verify. San Francisco allows the third fewest fantasy points to slot wide receivers, only 8.3 per game this year, where they're actually near the top in terms of allowing fantasy points to outside wide receivers. So they have not been they've been much better against slot than they have against outside. And then Secret, Burrow or Hurts? I still would go Hurts, but I think Burrow does have the higher ceiling this week. And to be fair, I have Jalen Hurts at QB2, and I have Joe Burrow at QB3. So,
yeah, man, yeah, it's probably Hurts. That's tough.
Yeah, because it feels like it could go a lot of different directions, honestly.
Yeah, it either feels like Hurts is just going to wipe out the Saquon Barkley chalk for this week, or it's just going to be the Saquon Barkley chalk.
Yeah. So, gotcha. Thanks, guys. I'm going to start Garrett Wilson. You convinced me. Well, let's fingers crossed that it goes well for you. So, that's just my rationale why I have Garrett Wilson higher. I get it. So, that being said, looks like that's the last question. So, let's get out of here. We got a little about 30 minutes left. Get some lineups built and stuff like that for DraftKings. But we'll be back again tonight for the waiver show. Hopefully, it's not anything crazy because we've already had enough crazy. But at least next week, we are no more buys after this. Buys are done. Start of the fantasy playoffs. So, we'll get this one real quick. The Pickens out, wheelchair, McConkey, or Wilson. McConkey has so many injuries. I feel like he's likely to be out or see the ball less. I think it's possible that he sees the ball less, but he's really the only wide receiver they got right now. I mean, comparatively speaking, anyway. And so,
Will Disley, baby.
Yeah, it very well could be. So,
I would go Wilson.
Yeah, I would just play Wilson here and just move on. And hopefully it doesn't kill you. So, yeah, we're going down with Garrett Wilson, apparently. or at least I
Yep.
am. So, all right. Keep it locked in here. Like I said, we'll be back in tonight in the halftime of the Chiefs-Chargers game and go through all of our waivers, streaming options, streaming tight ends, stuff like that. And then back to our normal stuff that we have going on throughout the week. So keep it locked in here. Good luck. Let's make the playoffs. Let's go win some championships. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.